Hey guys, welcome back to another formalization video. Today we have yet another question here, and as always, let's first start off by reading the question. So this is from the COMC 2007 contest. This is the 8th question from the 8th and final question of part A. And as always, let's first start off by reading the question. So, in the diagram, there are 28 line segments of length 1 arranged as shown to form 9 squares. There are various routes from A to B traveling along the segments so that no segment is traveled more than once. Of these possible routes, determine the length of the route that occurs the most often, and number 2, the number of different routes of this length. Now here, if we look here, we can see that there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares. Now we can see here, let's split this into vertical line segments and horizontal line segments. We see that there's 9 horizontal line segments, so in total 18 because you have 9 here and 9 here, and there's a total of 10 vertical line segments in between. Now the reason why I'm saying this is because we need to get to A to B. Now obviously without retracing your path, the only ways you can go are going to be right, up, and down. Now because we need to get to A to B, this means that we're going to have at least 9, not going to have at least, it has to be 9 movements to the right following these line segments. So all we really need to solve for is how many times we will cross vertically. So how many times will you go up, how many times will you go down, and so on. Now we can see here, eventually at the very end, you need to somehow end down from where you were before by exactly 1 square. This means that in total, the number of vertical segments that you travel across has to be an odd number, because there will always be one more down movement than up movements. So this would be, for example, let's say x is the amount of up movements you make. In total, there would be a total of x plus 1 plus x, which is 2x plus 1, which is an odd number because, well, there's one more down movement than all the odd movements, so that you end one down at the very end. So from here, let's say n is going to be the number of routes for these segments, for how many vertical segments there are. So let's say n is going to be equal to 1 or 9. Now in this case here, you can see here that out of these 10 segments that I just chose from, you're going to have to go down one of them, okay? That's how you end out at B if n is equal to 1. If n equals to 9, it's going to be the same exact thing, but the inverse. So instead of picking one of these segments to go down of, you're going to go down all these segments and pick one to skip. So essentially here, for n equals 1 or 9, we see that total number of routes is going to be 10 choose 1 or 10 choose 9. These are both the same, by the way, and this is going to be equal to 10. So we know that if n is going to be equal to 1 or 9, right, there are going to be a total of 10 movements for each of these. So the number of routes are going to be 10. Now let's look at n is equal to 3 and 7. Remember, we need to look at n is equal to odd integers because the total amount of vertical movements have to be odd. So let's look at n equals 3 and 7. Here is the same thing. It's going to be 10 choose 3 or 10 choose 7, and this is going to be equal to 120. The reason why is pretty similar. We need to do 3 vertical movements, so we just need to choose out of these 10 or out of these 10, you can choose either 3 of them to go down and go up or go down, or choose 7 of them that you will follow. So there's also going to be 120 routes if n is equal to 3 or 7. And finally, we have n is going to be equal to 5. Here it's going to be 10 choose 5, and this is going to be equal to 252. This means that if you're going to cross vertically 5 times, there will be a total of 252 ways to do this, and hence there are 252 ways to do this. So the length of the route that occurs the most often has to be 252, and the reason why is because, well, it's actually pretty simple. This is the one that occurs the most. So the length of the route has to be 5 plus 9. Why? Well, because n is the amount of vertical movements, and obviously you have to add the 9 movements from before, so there has to be 14. So the length of the route that happens the most is going to be 14. So I'll write that down here. 5 plus 9, which is going to be equal to 14. Now we need to find the number of different routes of this length. I already said before, 252. So the answer to these two problems are going to be 252 and 14. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any other ways to solve this problem, please let me know down below in the comments, and thank you guys for listening. Bye.